everyone, how are we today? Just doing an all signs reading. We are doing the full moon shadow work reading today. Okay, so we do have the full moon in Gemini happening. It is also the final day of the retrograde as well. So a lot of strong energy around at the moment. And being the last full moon of the year, rather than looking at all the the deep and the dark and the scary stuff that we need to face within our own selves, I really wanted to use our shadow work video today to actually do a little bit of shadow work in regards to reflection, all right, and being grateful for having gratitude for our shadow work, for the ability to be able to sit here and face the darker sides of ourselves and consciously be trying to evolve and grow as a person, as a soul. Okay, so everyone who has been watching the shadow work videos, or you're watching for the very first time, and you're prepared to look a little bit deeper within and face some stuff, and whatever that means to you. Today we're actually going to reflect a little bit at how far we have come, whether that be just in the last year, in the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever that is for you. Even if it's just, today I woke up in a better mood than I did yesterday. Awesome. I'm going to show some gratitude for that, be thankful for that, so that, the more gratitude I'm showing for even just the littlest little things, like, oh, I got out of bed this morning. Awesome. The more you're going to attract that energy towards you. So today's patting yourself on the shoulder day, okay, guys? But this particular full moon, it is actually celebrated in Hindu culture as a sacred day for charity and prayer, affirmations, to bring peace and prosperity and spiritual growth. So I really wanted to embrace that energy today and, help further our peace and prosperity. Be thankful for the peace and prosperity, the spiritual growth we have already achieved, so that we can achieve some more. All right, but this full moon, it's all about expressing your mind and creative expression of communication, especially, writing, social media stuff, advertisement stuff, because, you're opening yourself up to new ideas and specifically new perspectives. So, you're looking back, reflecting upon, the past year, for example, your life, for example, but rather than it coming from your own personal perspective, we might be, wanting to get into a more objective perspective, or, walk a mile in somebody else's shoes and see how things would have looked for that person, seeing different perspectives, so that you can sort of open yourself up to those moments of clarity where you really do sort of get some of those little info bombs dropping for yourself here, stirring up like a brainstorm session where you're looking at all the potential possibilities outside of yourself, not just for you yourself, but from other perspectives as well. This being that we are we're only just finishing that retrograde. There may be a little bit of miscommunication during today as well, but we really are reflecting on the truths that we've learned, and being grateful for learning those truths, for being able to stop and look back and be where we are right now in the present moment. We're reflecting on how far we've come, how far we've grown, but there is a little bit of caution in action at the moment. This really is a time for reflection and thinking things through. Very, communication. Yes, talking about things with yourself, with your loved ones, communicating about things and reflecting upon things, but not necessarily acting on things at the moment. Give it a couple of days. Make sure all that retrograde energy is over and done, okay, before we jump on into anything like that. Please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I do really appreciate that. Every single little bit really does make a big difference. So thank you. Um, I will be starting off with Aries. There will be timestamps in the description box. I am using the red hand lenormand today. I do like to use that one for our shadow work readings, but instead of our normal darker sort of decks today, I am using the Power of Love Oracle as well. All right, so getting into it for everybody, I'm going to start off with Aries and have a look. Okay, Aries. Aries. Shadow work message for Aries. Shadow work message for reflection and gratitude. Aries. Shadow work. Aries. Beautiful. You really have been growing and evolving, Aries. We have the tree coming through firstly, showing some gratitude to yourself for the way that you've actually been trying to look after yourself, whether you've been failing at that or not. All right, because we all fall backwards when it comes to shadow work stuff and growing and evolving, maturing and looking after ourselves. But you've been trying, okay? So it's time to stop and just give yourself, a little pat on the back for trying, okay? Because that really does show us with the tree there that you are trying to evolve. You are trying to grow and mature and learn more about yourself and change the things about yourself that you're not happy with, that you see as darker sides of yourself, chasing those demons down and getting them to submit to you, Aries. Very Aries kind of energy there. But for some of you, it may be, there may be some family issues that you've really been sort of trying to take care of yourself in regard to those as well, trying to branch out and, deal with things in new ways that you may not have tried to deal with things before. So, you definitely are on the right path with that sort of stuff here, Aries. Looking after yourself, definitely have some, give yourself a little, bit of gratitude for trying to look after yourself in ways that actually help you move forward. All right, because we have the ship here as well. So, you are moving forward. It may not feel like it, but you are making progress here. Okay, so having some gratitude for the like looking at life as though it's just part of the adventure. Okay, this self-growth and evolving within yourself, that's all just part of your next adventure. It's time to, get on that ship and sail off into the sunset, Aries. You're ready. You're ready to go because it's time for you to get on that ship and go. Okay, all your ships will land where you need them to, take you where you need to go. The journey is only just beginning, and you are taking the right steps towards that. Okay, we do see the astral card coming through as well. Very interesting energy here, Aries. With the shadow work message of gratitude and reflection here. Reflecting a little bit upon your spiritual connection, okay? Regardless of what you believe in here, whether you believe in, God, the universe, Gaia, whoever it is that you look up to on a spiritual connection, religious connection. For some of you, it's even like just an astral connection that there might be certain like more spiritual. I'm getting some more spiritual stuff, something like astral sort of stuff where you're noticing intuition and things like that working really well for yourself here, Aries. It's time to give a little bit of recognition to those connections. So if you are, you may even be astrally sort of connected to somebody, energetically connected to somebody specific, like in life. For some of you, it's kind of like angels, guides, like spirit guides, ancestors, and all that sort of stuff as well coming through there. Your actual dreams might be trying to send some messages through to you, Aries, showing some gratitude for your connection to something deeper than reality, basically, is what I'm getting here. And it's time to sort of reflect upon those moments where you have noticed that connection between yourself and God, between yourself and, you know, somebody specifically, because that's actually really helping you on your path. It's really helping you heal and evolve and grow here as well. So, you know, and I do feel for some of you, you know, the more grateful that you are and the more that you're paying attention to that connection, the more it's going to increase and sort of pay dividends for you here, Aries. All right. So, you know, it's time to sort of pay attention to that. You know, your third eye is opening. All right. So, you know, seeing things beyond reality and connecting to things beyond reality. That's going to be slightly different for everyone. Like I said, for some people, there's some dreams, there's third eye stuff, there's, you know, spirit guides, there's, you know, just talking to God and praying and things like that as well. So whatever that is for you specifically, keep on doing that, because that connection is, you know, really helping you. Okay. Aries. Shadow work, reflection message for our Aries. Virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. So there you go, Aries. We were just talking about that, your spiritual attributes, your spiritual connection. You know, that is actually encouraging not only you to grow, but people around you to grow, that they're seeing that about you, and it's encouraging others as well. And it's, you know, staying true to yourself and your beliefs, whatever they are for you. You know, it's enough that you believe, Aries. Okay, so, you know, I'm kind of just picking up something here too about just having faith and believing is the strength here. It doesn't matter what you believe in. Like you know, it's kind of giving me this. It's talking to me about different religions, because I'm feeling that there might be someone out there who's like connecting, like this spiritual connection is actually with somebody from a different religion to you, or a different, you know, train of thought when it comes to religion or spirituality. There may be some differences, and but you still have a really strong spiritual connection with this person, and it's because you both believe, you both have faith. So don't lose the faith. You know, a little bit of reflection upon that connection, and you know, showing some gratitude for the fact that you do believe so strongly, and keep going with it, Aries. It's a strong connection for you. Have faith. All right, even if that's just having faith in yourself. All right. Okay. So that's what we have for you today, Aries. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. And moving right along to our Taurus. Okay, Taurus. Shadow work message for Taurus. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for our Taurus. I'm not so much seeing, there may be a little bit of reflection involved with this for you, Taurus, but we do have the ring coming through firstly, the bouquet, the flowers there, as well as the dog. All right, the dog is the card of friendship. So and with the ring starting that off there, we are quite clearly looking at relationships in your life, specifically friendships. It may not be just friendships, that it's loyal. Okay. Close relationships that you have with people where there's a lot of loyalty, a lot of compassion and understanding for each other. You know, people that are, you know, have empathy for your situation and you have empathy for theirs. You're loyal to them, they're loyal to you. You know, because we do see right in the middle of that, the flowers. There's a lot of give and take here. All right, they're equal. It's equal give and take. It's not giving, and taking. It's equal relationships. So, you know, that's definitely something to be grateful for. The fact that you, even if that's only one person in your life that gives you just as much time, love, and energy as you give them, they give you loyalty, they give you compassion and empathy. It's a strong relationship. Not everybody has relationships like this in their life, Taurus. So it's time to reflect upon that relationship and be grateful for that. That seems to be the main message coming through for you here, Taurus. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, Taurus. Final shadow work message for Taurus. Final shadow work message for our Taurus, please. Detachment. You are releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. So that actually it does add in a little bit to what we just saw in your message here as well. Because of this, this can refer to patterns and cycles. So you are sort of releasing old patterns and old relationships that do not give and take equally. Okay, so you maybe have in the past year or so, maybe you're reflecting upon a relationship that you had to let go because this person was just not giving you anything. Even though you were giving and giving and giving, they weren't giving anything to you. So for some of you, you may be reflecting upon a relationship like that you have sort of had to kind of break that cycle and break that pattern and move away from that and detach from that. But you are serving the highest ideal of love here, and by removing those sorts of connections that aren't giving reciprocal energy, it allows other relationships to come in or expand with the empathy and the support and the compassion and equal give and take. All right, so that's what we have for you today, Taurus. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll move on to Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for Gemini. Shadow work messages for our Geminis. You've put a lot of work in, Gemini. Firstly, we have the Garden coming through. That is the card of social stuff, getting out and about, spending time with friends and family, attending events, going to public spaces, public event type things, even just meeting up with friends, at your local coffee shop or whatever. It can talk about compromise as well, meeting somebody halfway, meetings. But what I feel for a lot of you, it seems to be more connected to this mountain energy. Okay, we do have the mountain there as well, which, that is the card for Capricorn. Okay, so it can talk quite a lot about money goals and hard work, overcoming challenges that have been sort of put in your path. And with the Garden there, you've met those challenges head on and you've put in the work to get through that and to get over that mountain. Okay, so sort of reflecting and showing yourself some gratitude for all the hard work you have put in to overcome the ish that's been thrown your way. All right, because you've met it head on, kind of thing. These challenges or obstacles, delays that you've been faced with this year. You've met those. You've put in the hard work that was necessary. You stayed determined. You were compromising, yet very determined and perseverant to get through it, basically. So for some of you, this is kind of like there may have been some conflicts in your life that you may be reflecting upon the fact that you dealt with this conflict head on and resolved it, rather than running away from the problem or ignoring the issue or whatever you may have done in the past. You've kind of faced it head on and resolved it, gotten through that, rather than, avoided it. We do see the key here as well. So because you've done that, you've opened up brand new opportunities for yourself that all lead you to success here. Okay, so you've unlocked. It's like the key to success within yourself, and it's all about meeting these obstacles that are thrown your way head on, and just being very determined to get through it one way or another. And so now you kind of how to face these things. I just want to point out here too, this particular deck, it's quite hard to see, but every single card has, you can see that's the 8 of spades. We've actually got the 8 of spades, the 8 of clubs, and the 8 of diamonds. 8, 8, 8, Gemini. 8, 8, 8. So you saw this obstacle and you've ate it up, and you're, using it now to your advantage. 8s may be somehow significant to you. 8, 8, 8. Interesting. Very interesting to see all three 8s come out in a row. I feel like it's just kind of confirmation that you've done so much this year. So reflecting upon that, reflecting upon how much hard work you've put in this year, and some reassurance that it's leading you to success. It's opening the door to, not only knowing how to get through ish in the future, but to have less ish in the future in general. All right. So I feel like this is really good energy for you here, Gemini. But we'll have a look here. Shadow work, extra shadow work message for our Gemini, please. Reflection and gratitude. Reflection and gratitude for shadow work for our Geminis. Freedom. You've climbed that mountain, free to go back down the other side. Now that you're at the tippy top of that mountain, you're free to get back down however you decide. You can get one of them squirrel flying suits, or you can make a toboggan and slide on down, or you can just take your time, walk nice and carefully. You're releasing any self-imposed restrictions or perceived limitations through the loving energy of openness. Okay, so freedom to be open, removing any any restrictions that you've been putting on yourself. You're free. There is no limit. There is no limit for you. If you manage to climb this, ain't no mountain high enough. Right? You can climb any mountain, Gemini. Nothing's going to stop you. All right? So keep it up. I love that energy for you, Gemini. Reflection upon that and showing some gratitude for how much hard work you've put in this year. I love it. More than welcome to check your other placements, of course, especially your moon sign being the full moon as well. But please subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Cancers. Okay. Cancer, shadow work message for Cancer. Gratitude and reflection. Shadow work message for Cancer. Whoa. Definitely seeing the communication aspect of this full moon coming through for you, Cancer. Although I do feel as though it's been a bit stalled or blocked for you. Can I just want to clarify this for Cancer? What's coming from that third card? What's coming from that or after that? Yeah, so I'm actually feeling here, Cancer, that because what have we got? We got the full moon in Gemini. Sagittarius season. So, yeah, you're not actually one of the signs most affected by that, but maybe there's something to do with the placement of the Mercury retrograde that's ending, because, you know, your reflection and gratitude message here actually seems to be more typical shadow worky than, you know, what I was trying to sort of look at with these full moon messages. Because firstly, we have the mountain. So this is that blockage, that challenge. So maybe it's more along the lines of you reflecting upon the challenges, the delays, the stuck energy that you've been feeling all year, or we do have the ruins coming through there as well. So it's kind of like there's an obstacle or a challenge or a blockage or a delay that has kind of fallen by the wayside, fallen into disrepair, fallen into ruin. You feel as though, you know, maybe you felt as though you've lost that opportunity. You've lost it was blocked. It's challenged. It's the insurmountable mountain that you haven't been able to, you know, you felt as though it had fallen to ruin, that it wasn't going to go anywhere, that it has been blocked or something too heavily to come back around at all. Like it does feel a bit like a lost opportunity. It's kind of also giving too, because the mountain quite often talks about putting in hard work, you know, showing determination and perseverance to, you know, climb that mountain, those blockages and obstacles. So there is an element here of you kind of feeling like all my hard work was for nothing, and it fell apart anyway. I put in all this hard work and it still fell apart. Is what I'm kind of getting, that you're reflecting upon something where that is the sort of driving feeling of what you're reflecting upon here. You will actually, like, the next card I have is the letter. Okay, so that is a communication card. So there may have been like a big miscommunication about this. Whatever that was for you in your specific position here, it may have been, you know, miscommunication may have been a really big part of this issue. And I just want to go back through what we talked about with this particular full moon, and the miscommunication is like that you may have a moment of clarity because you're opening up to a new idea or a perspective on what's happened here. So you reflecting upon this, it may open you up to, you know, a different perspective of what's actually happened here, and you kind of realize that it was just a miscommunication. It's not necessarily a total ruin, okay? Because the ruins is always an interesting card to me, because, you know, ruins can actually become, you know, like think about some of the ancient ruins that we have in the world. I hope you can't hear that super loud car in the background, Cancer. It's going, but one of the neighbours has a really, really loud car. You know, but think about like the Colosseum, the Colosseum, or the, you know, the ancient ruins of, you know, the pyramids. Technically, are kind of ruins, right? They're now actually like wonders of the world, great big tourist places. So they're not really ruins anymore, are they? You know, yeah, it was ruined and it was like looted and pillaged and plundered and left to, you know, fall under the sand. But it's not a ruin anymore. It's found a new life as something else, a tourist destination. So the ruins are tricky like that they're sometimes something brand new can be created from the ruins. And I feel like you looking back at this, realizing that, you know, there was some sort of miscommunication, and you're kind of seeing the truth about what's happened to this a little bit more. So there may be some communication about it. You may be talking to somebody about something that's happened in the past where, you know, to you it felt like there was just too many blockages, and it just, you missed out, or, you know, it was just a ruined chance or something like that. But because we see you here with the bear as well, after that communication, you're standing your ground, standing in your power, you know, making sure that you do have clear boundaries with that thing. All right. Because I feel like you're kind of learning a truth about this, your reflection, and that it's kind of, that's where the gratitude's coming in. It's because it's enabling you to stand in your power, stand your ground against people trying to sort of do the same thing to you again. Like you're not going to have that same pattern repeat, because you put in so much work and you felt like it went to ruin, it was wasted. You're not going to do that again. You're going to be more careful. You're going to put up stronger boundaries with people, and communicate your boundaries with people a little bit more clearly so that it doesn't happen again. So very enigmatic there, Cancer. It just feels like it's very, you know, a very different situation for everybody. But a lot of reflection and sort of seeing the truth of some stuff that's happened in the past year for yourself there, Cancer. Extra message for Cancer with their shadow work, please. Cancer, shadow work message for Cancer, please. Gratitude. So maybe there's an element here of, you know, you put in so much hard work, but, you know, you need to show gratitude for, because at least you know this now. You know better next time, that kind of thing. You've learnt that lesson. Maybe it was the hard way, but you've learnt that lesson at least. You fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. Sometimes the universe doesn't quite so lovingly present them to you. Sometimes the biggest lessons that we learn are the ones that affect us the most emotionally, the hardest ones. Sometimes they're the most important ones, you know, but there's a reason that they happen and that we had to learn those things. So it's kind of one of them energies where sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to be happy for the horrible things and, you know, the hardships or whatever, but that's where we learn the most, to be completely honest. And if you're being honest with yourself, you know, whatever this situation was, is like, well, do you know what? If nothing else, you know that you now know that you are capable of putting in that much work. Even if you feel like it was wasted and it didn't get you anywhere, you know you can do it. All right, Cancer. So there's definitely some truths under the surface of all that. So reflecting upon that thing is really going to sort of allow you to communicate with yourself and try to find the things to be grateful for about that experience. Because, you know, it's kind of like, if that didn't happen, where would you be right now? Would you be somewhere different, which maybe isn't actually as good as where you are right now? You don't know what would have happened. Okay, if that hadn't have done that, it might not have worked out as good as what things are right now, to be honest. Maybe there was a reason that happened, and you know, maybe something better has come in or is coming in for you here, Cancer. Okay, so that's what we have for you today, Cancer. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to take a short break and then move on to Leo. Okay, so we will move on over to Leo. Leo, shadow work message for Leo. Okay, reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for our Leos, please. Oh, strange times, Leo. Strange people, strange dreams. This is a very interesting shadow work message here, Leo, in regards to reflection and gratitude. Firstly, we have the cat, okay, which it's the pairing card to the dog energy, which is usually a friend, themes of friendship. Whereas the cat is kind of a little bit more standoffish. You kind of have to allow the cat to come to you rather than, bounding up and jumping all over you like a dog. Um, it's kind of they'll it's a little bit like the stranger. There is a particular deck where it's called the stranger. It's I feel like it's the strange and mysterious here. It's like, because the cat can also be in some things, it's like the witch's familiar. The next card we have is the astral, okay, which talks about the deeper layer of life, the energy connections, things in your dreams, like literally your dreams, your third eye, understanding things in a different kind of way, like it's that the astral plane of energy rather than reality. I feel like for a lot of you, it's like this connection has been developing, and you're actually reflecting upon that and learning that, seeing things from a different perspective through the astral perspective, you can understand that these things aren't as strange to you as you think or thought. That maybe you're picking up a lot about strangers, and your intuition is, when you first meet somebody, your intuition is right, kind of thing. I feel as though you're reflecting upon the things that have happened, this year, and you're actually starting to show some gratitude to the universe for you just sort of picking up on the energy, especially when it comes to strangers. There may have been something this year where you've just sort of known something about somebody here, and you're just feeling very connected spiritually. Very just clarify. Just clarify this message for Leo, please. We have the fungi and then the masculine. So yeah, you're taking control of your interconnectedness. Okay, the fungi talks about our interconnectedness. That, even though we see, however many mushrooms here, they've all come from the same place. They're all actually connected. Mushrooms are very interesting. Fungi is very interesting. It actually kind of talks to each other under the surface, and that's what you're doing here. You're talking to others under the surface. You're sitting back and observing, and it's actually allowing you to, you're have control over this interconnectedness, and you're sitting. You've been maybe. I feel like there's maybe a few moments this year where you've been just sort of sitting back and just watching, observing, and it's allowed you to see things under the surface of what's actually, happening, beyond reality, the more astral, the energy of things a little bit here. You're realizing that you actually are a little bit more connected than you maybe thought you were, and that's what we're sort of showing gratitude for here, and reflecting upon, because it's allowing us to sort of learn some of the greater mysterious truths of the universe, and that you're not you know, you're not running up to people and allowing them into your life. You're actually sitting back and observing and checking out the energy, and trusting your intuition a little bit more as to, should I trust this person, and that kind of thing. We do have the candle coming through as well, which usually talks, you know, about love type stuff here, but I do feel as though this is like the fire within you, Leo. It's kind of like you're kindling this blaze within you and starting to really learn this side of yourself that is connected, that can see beyond the layer of reality, and has got, you know, some sort of control and connectedness with that. Especially, I feel like, especially when it comes to, you know, understanding people and situations, and you're sort of understanding things from different perspective, in that sense that you're seeing things from, you know, the astral perspective of the energy of the perspective, rather than, you know, what's happening in reality here. So maybe some gratitude for, you know, your development when it comes to your spiritual growth here. Okay, Leo. Extra message for our Leos with shadow work, please. Extra message for Leo when it comes to shadow work. Harmony. Yeah, you're coming into harmony with the universe, with yourself. Okay, we're not just trying to be logical and rational all the time. We're actually starting to, you know, balance that out with our intuition and our emotional side. You're able to feel a loving, balanced connection with everything. Don't you love it when the cards come out saying exactly what I've just said? I am a Leo rising, right? So I am connected as well. So yes, I'm going to show some gratitude for that connection, because it definitely has expanded in this year. I feel like, me personally, you know, someone who has always been very sort of spiritual minded and connected to, you know, the extra layer of energy there. This last year, for some reason, it really has been full on. A lot of extra layers of that, like a more connectedness coming through. I feel like that's a global kind of thing for people that are connected. So yeah, I'll be right alongside you with the gratitude for that, Leo. Okay, but you are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. You know, subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo, shadow work message, please. Reflection and gratitude, shadow work message for Virgo. What a change to what we just saw for Leo. You and Leo are kind of in opposite energies this reflection period, which is quite interesting. So for those of you on the cusp of Leo and Virgo, it may be well worth watching both sections there, because, you know, you may be really struggling to balance both out here a little bit, because you know, I am seeing you here, Virgo. The first card we have is the Moth, all right, which talks about transformation, so coming out into the light. All right, so you've been a caterpillar, you've been there, done that. Now you're this beautiful moth chasing the light. So you're really trying to, you know, focus on the gratitude of the transformations that you've been through, and understanding that even when you've felt stuck this, you know, in this past year, even when you've felt stuck, you are still transforming. Okay, you are still moving towards the light, being directed towards the light for yourself here, Virgo. Because I do feel for a lot of you, you may have been feeling very, very sort of stuck. And for a lot of you, this is kind of stuck in reality a little bit here, that, you know, you have been kind of feeling maybe this year that you're needing to sort of change things about your life, specifically when it comes to your financial state. We have the fish there as well. So you may have been feeling very stuck and sort of held back a little bit when it comes to your finances this year. Your sense of just general wealth and abundance, even if that's not money. All right, you may have kind of been just sort of kind of this wanting of just a little bit more in your life, with a bit of everything, like just wanting more and wanting to be a little bit more abundant. And it does feel like this year has been, like, this transformation has been very, very focused on the material and the reality of your life. So like what you have in your life, who you have in your life. It doesn't necessarily, it's prosperity more than, the themes we're sort of talking about with the gratitude is like peace and prosperity and spiritual growth. It feels more along the lines of rational, logical growth, and transforming into, someone who's sort of chasing the light, chasing the easier way of living materially. So, we all kind of consider that, the more money, the easier life kind of gets, because you're not being held back by money. I feel like for a lot of you, you've been feeling held back by money, and that you can't do what you want to do because of money and things like this. So, but I feel like part of the message here, Virgo, is to, while you're reflecting upon this, to not forget to, show a bit of gratitude for what you do have, even if it's nothing. Even if it's only the $2 in your bank account, at least you got $2. Like I said this in one of the other signs, but it was like, I can't remember the exact percentages, but there's like, if it's something like, if you wake up in the morning well rested, in a bed with food in your tummy, you're doing better than like 85% of the population of the world. Something to think about, isn't it? Like, and I think the percentages were actually higher. I'm just kind of lowballing because I cannot remember the exact. But like, where the world is in a state. There's a lot of people in the world that don't even have a safe place to sleep, let alone a safe country to live in. People trying to flee their homes, and they don't know when they're going to get their next meal. They don't have clean drinking water. So make sure we are being grateful for the things that we do have, no matter how big or small those things are, which will help enhance more positive things come for you. But I do kind of feel that, it's a matter of being secure and knowing that you are transforming this, and seeing things from different perspectives here may actually really help you on this little bit of journey, Virgo. But it does feel as though you are very focused on the material stuff at the moment, and that is perfectly fine. You don't have to be continually focused on spiritual growth and things like that. Sometimes we do need to buckle down and focus on life. Adulting, has its way of creeping up on us. But, I feel as it's just been weighing you down a little bit. And so reflecting upon that and communicating with yourself about that, and I feel as though, the more that you reflect upon, how this has been going for you, the more you're going to, get a bit of clarity on how to, go in the direction you want when it comes to that sort of stuff here. Okay, but extra shadow work message for our Virgos. Virgo, extra shadow work message for Virgo. Harmony. You're able to feel a loving, balanced connection with everything. So it's interesting that I mentioned that you and Leo are in different spectrums, and then I do have this same card for Leo. So you are actually quite well balanced within the material world, within reality. You're quite well balanced. Okay, you're more balanced than you realize. You're in harmony with your reality more than you realize. Okay. So that's what we have for you, Virgo. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to Libra. Okay, Libra. Shadow work message for our Libra. Libra. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for Libra. Getting a bit of reassurance for you here, Libra, more than anything, to be honest. Have faith your time will come. You do need to communicate that with yourself a little bit more. You know, because I feel like what we're needing to reflect upon, we have the cross coming through first. So we are needing to reflect upon the way that we've taken on board responsibilities. We also have the birds here. So your communication and the conversations you've had in regard to responsibility and, the weight on your shoulders. I feel like you're trying to carry it all, whereas, maybe reflecting upon, because I'm getting this energy of like you saying you've asked for help, but have you really? Like, because with the reflection energy comes a big energy of, looking through somebody else's perspective at the situation. Okay, Libra. So I do feel as though there's this energy here that, even if you feel as though you have asked for help, carrying all these burdens and, with these responsibilities on your shoulders, you're kind of reflecting upon the way maybe that you've had these conversations or communication in the past, and seeing it from somebody else's perspective, and realizing that maybe you do need to actually be a little bit more, maybe there was a misunderstanding, a miscommunication here somewhere along the line, and you're kind of reflecting upon that. And I feel as though it's kind of clicking for you during this full moon, that when, as you reflect upon this, that it's just a miscommunication, and that, maybe maybe there's a different way I can communicate that to actually get the message through, or maybe I actually need to listen to their perspective a little bit more and take that on board a little bit more, because there does seem to be just some extra clarity, and some underlying truths coming through when it comes to the conversations in regard to responsibilities that have been dealt here. But it will come in time. We have the hourglass there as well, so there is a strong energy here too of, the cross does talk about spiritual connection. It talks about having faith that things are going to, that these conversations are going to happen in time the way that you need them to. The hourglass does talk about divine timing. So it talks about, things happen when they're supposed to happen. Maybe, maybe you were supposed to go through a bit of struggle in order so you could learn it. So once you do reflect, you could learn how to have these conversations in different ways, or to see somebody else's perspective here. But, having faith that in time it will happen. Okay. So it does feel like a little bit of reassurance in that sense, that we do just need to keep faith in ourselves, in the way that we're communicating. Have faith through looking at, making sure you are being objective and looking through other perspectives of these conversations as well, alternate perspectives, and brainstorming maybe a little bit here too, and that maybe it just will take a little bit more time. Time is coming through here. Is the time is, it may just take a little bit more time. You may just need to be a little bit more patient. It's going to happen when it needs to happen. And unfortunately, it hasn't needed to happen as of yet. Or it needed to happen that you had the miscommunication, so that we could, clear our thoughts and things like that. There is a giant bug flying around, freaking me out. I'll finish your portion and then I'll pause so I can like get the bug spray out. Libra, your extra message for your shadow work. It's like it's up above me somewhere, and I'm like, I can't see it. Libra, your extra shadow work message. Forgiveness. Forgiving the past, okay? You are now able to activate the power of love in order to release past hurts. Okay, so that, yeah, that's why we're needing to be a bit more objective and you know, look at somebody else's perspective here, because, you know, love, the power of love. Activate that and, you know, release the hurt, because I do feel as though, you know, with the burdens and the responsibilities, there was, you know, you maybe were having conversations coming from hurt rather than clear, open, honest communication, or vice versa. You know, maybe you're more able to understand somebody else's hurt and release that, and forgiving each other for those things. You know, in time, things will heal and go in the direction that you need them to. Okay, so that's what we have for you, Libra. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to pause, kill this bug, and I'll be right on back with Scorpio. Okay, moving on to Scorpio. Scorpio, the shadow work message for our Scorpios. Reflection and gratitude for Scorpio. I have gratitude that I managed to get the bug that was trying to attack me in my room here. But you're not going to believe it. When I went into the other room to get the bug spray, giant huntsman out there. It's the weather here in Australia. It's so hot. All the bugs have come inside trying to get out of the heat. But the huntsman is about this big. I'll see if I can get a photo and I'll put it up on the community page, or like the posts or whatever. Creepy. Okay, so the reflections and gratitude. Firstly, we have the scythe coming through, which is something that suddenly kind of happened out of nowhere. It was something very sudden, very maybe unexpected. Something that we've maybe broken free from. It was very. We have the mice here as well. So the mice talks about, you know, something in the past. It talks about a loss, something that maybe stressed you out when it happened. So I do feel this is actually, it's kind of coming through that when this happened, all right, so when this change actually happened, so I do sort of expect to see these two cards when it's, sorry about that car in the background as well, Scorpio, if you can hear that, but quite loud. But it's like the energy of like a breakup, for example, because we have this sudden break, sudden unexpected change, and then we have a loss, you know, that is sort of eating away at you. It's, you know, something gets put in the past. So we do see something, you know, that, you know, has been lost or broken away from, a sudden change, you know, highly likely, like, you know, a lot of the time this comes through for breakups. So that definitely could be something that's happened for you, that you're reflecting upon a past breakup, something that you've lost in your life, like that maybe you thought at the time it hurt you and it stressed you out and it kind of ate away at you and you know, it niggled away in the back of your mind, like, why did I have to lose that thing? You know, it could have been a job, it could have been a relationship, it could have been, you know, a lot of different things here. But, you know, when it happened, it kind of, it didn't feel good, you know, but now that you're kind of reflecting upon it, I feel like that's where you're getting your gratitude. You're kind of like, I'm actually really glad that happened. Yes, it hurt a lot when it happened, but, you know, I feel like you're at the point where you're able to now reflect upon that and see that it was actually for your highest good, and that, you know, that was supposed to happen, that you were supposed to break free from that energy. We do have the birds here as well, so, you know, it may have been like there may have been some connection here with, you know, like a lost conversation, or a conversation that has, you know, led to this impulsive break, for some of you here. Or it could just be you, you know, have now able to open up to have that conversation with yourself and reflect upon the fact that, hang on, now I can actually feel gratitude for that grief that I had back then, because, you know, you're now kind of able to see that, you know, it was just a bit of drama-ish type energy, you know, because the birds can be a little bit fluttery, you know, chitter-chattery type energy, and you know, it's got an element of wisdom with it because it's quite often represented by owls. Um, so I feel like now in the present, you're seeing that past break differently to how it felt. So when it happened, you had grief, you had loss, you know, you felt lost and confused and annoyed and stressed and whatever, you know, probably a lot of feelings, you know, but now that you've gone through that grief and you've healed a little bit more from that, you're now able to see that, do you know what? I'm actually really glad that that happened, because, you know, I'm glad it happened then, rather than, you know, getting dragged on for another 6 months or year or 2 years, you know, and then finding out, you know, something like that, then it not working and falling apart, you know, so it's kind of like, well, I'm glad it happened when it happened kind of energy. You may not be happy that it actually happened, but you are sort of starting to realize that there's reasons why that happened that way, and that's what you're feeling the gratitude for. Like, oh well, I'm glad that happened, because then, you know, if that had never, you know, in the example of, you know, breaking up with somebody, you were very hurt by that, but then you kind of reflecting back on that, going, well, do you know what, I'm actually really glad I broke up with that person then, because if I hadn't have, I never would have, you know, been out drinking my sorrows away and met this other person who's now my partner, you know. So you kind of seeing the reasons for the thing that happened, that even though it was very painful or whatever, you're now grateful for that. So I feel like that's something to actually be grateful for in itself, that you're now able to stop and reflect upon something that was harder for you, that was sudden and unexpected, and, you know, maybe quite shocking at the time to you here. And you're now able to reflect upon that and actually communicate with yourself a little bit deeper about that, and be like, well, I'm actually, like, you know, thinking about this from a different perspective now. And the different perspective is like, really makes a difference to the feelings of the situation. So, you know, you're now able to see the perspective, from a totally different angle, which seems to be really good for, your growth. Okay, Scorpio, and to be honest, like, it just feels right. Honestly, it feels like it's, whatever happened here was actually for your highest good. That it's like you broke free from something that was holding you back, or you know, not suiting you perfectly. You know, it was getting in the way of something better. So it feels like that. Okay, Scorpio, extra message for Scorpio with their shadow work, please. Purpose. So there was a purpose. There's a method to the madness, a reason for the crazy thing that happened. You possess the determination and dedication to consciously demonstrate love. So you're, you know, really trying. You're looking back at the past from a different perspective, from a, you know, a love for yourself perspective, and you're consciously choosing to go, what turned out to be the good thing about that. Even if it was even if you're still looking at it like it was a bad thing, you're now able to consciously go, well, hang on, I want to look at, you know, this from a different perspective, and I want to find, you know, I want to tell myself what are the good things that came from this. So, you know, and I feel like for a lot of you that whatever this was, it released you from something that has enabled you to, follow your true purpose. It's made the room for something better, more suited to you and your purpose in this world. So, whether that was a person, a job, or whatever, you're back on track a little bit here, Scorpio. That thing, it wasn't supposed to stay. If it was supposed to stay, it would have. It sounds a little bit harsh, but it happened quite suddenly. So I feel like at the time you were like just shock. But yeah, there was a reason. There was a reason, and it's working out for you. Even if it hasn't as of yet, it is going to. All right. So that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll move on over to our Sagittarius. Sagittarius, pardon. Shadow work messages for Sagittarius. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work for Sagittarius, please. Ooh. She works hard for the money. That's very interesting message here. Can I clarify this? Please clarify this message for Sagittarius. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for Sagittarius. Please clarify or reword. Brainstorming. Sagittarius. Brainstorming. Brainstorming. Coming up with new ideas. For a lot of you, this is potentially connected strongly to your work, your money. The first card we have is the Beetle, okay, which this is a very interesting energy because it is telling me very strongly teamwork here because, beetles, do symbolize teamwork quite strongly. But, there's very interesting things about this beetle imagery as well because, we've got the hard armored shell on the outside and then we've got these soft, delicate wings. But then we've got these big, giant pincers trying to scare off, trying to be scary. And I'm not something that you want to eat. So it's kind of backing up this energy here with the fox as well because the fox energy it's kind of about being selfish for your own survival. So it's not really selfish. It's like being just sneaky, being a little bit clever, intelligent, making sure you use every little scrap of intelligence that you have to really look out for yourself. Do what you need to do. Say what you need to say to get what you want out of a situation. So it can be a little bit sneaky, a little bit being very tricky and clever. Because the fox energy, it's kind of like a business contract with all these little fine print details. Okay, the fox is the fine print, the loopholes, the catches, the clauses that you're being a little bit sneaky about. Okay, it can be like a used car salesman. They'll sell you all the really good qualities of the car, but they might not tell you about the clunking and the fact that it's a bit of a lemon. They just need the sale, right? Which you can't really blame them. They've got to make their money. They've got a job to do. That's their job. Like, I know it's a bit dodgy and it may not suit everybody's morals, but they've got mouths to feed. They're doing what they're told. They're doing their job, whatever. Not everyone can do that, but sometimes people need to be a little bit selfish for their own survival. That maybe that's the only way that they can survive. You know, especially when we're talking about a shadow work reading, we accept the darker sides of ourselves. We can all be a little bit shady sometimes, not going to lie. But it's kind of talking about, because there is a teamwork aspect coming through here as well. So it's kind of like, because you're trying to protect your soft, delicate little wings. You're trying to protect your little bug self from being eaten by the big guys. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to put up these defenses to show that, I've got these big defensive pincers. You don't want to come near me. But deep down, you're just this soft little bug with these delicate little wings and, but you need to put on this hard exterior to protect yourself and survive in this harsh world kind of energy. So I do feel for a lot of you, though, this is work, career, money, because we have the fish coming through here as well, which is the financial card. So I do feel as though for a lot of you, this is like, maybe needing to put on a tough exterior that you're more capable than you actually are, or more, that you're doing a better job than you actually are. It's kind of that energy of like I said, with the clauses and the fine print, it's kind of like someone not lying but exaggerating on a resume because they need the job. They want the job. They need the job. They know they can do the job, but maybe they're not quite qualified enough for the job. So, it's kind of that energy of like, you do your resume and you're like, you put on there, oh, I'm studying this at college or whatever, but you're not clarifying to them that you dropped out of college. So you're not technically still at college, but you're telling them, oh yeah, I'm halfway through my degree, but you just don't tell them that you've dropped out. So it's not going to get completed. That kind of thing, like, because they're like, oh, well, you're halfway through your degree. Awesome. We'll take you on. And you're like, sweet. Now I don't have to finish my degree because I'm already doing the job. You know what I mean? Like, it's sneaky. It's a gray area morally, right? Whatever this is for a lot of you, I feel that you may be reflecting upon this, and having gratitude for yourself for actually having the balls to do it. Not gonna lie, because it's survival. That's the thing that's coming through the strongest, is you need to survive. You need to protect yourself and protect these soft little wings, because otherwise you cannot fly. The fox, it's not necessarily a bad energy. All right. A lot of traditional readers will read it as a negative energy because it's, sneaky and tricky and all this, and because, it can be to the point of manipulation sometimes, but I'm not feeling that right now, because the fox ultimately is about survival, doing what you need to do to survive. And I feel like that's where the gratitude's coming in, is because you're like, do you know what? Geez, I'm glad that I did what I needed to do, because otherwise I never would have made it through this or that. I never would have got this or that in my life. Geez, I'm glad that I did that. Geez, I'm glad that I bent the truth a little bit or exaggerated, or, it doesn't feel like a huge wrong. It doesn't feel like, anything illegal or like hugely morally wrong or anything like that. It's just like a little white lie. Your butt doesn't look big in those jeans. What are you talking about? Just a little white lie. Because when I've asked to clarify, we've got the stork and then the hourglass. So, the hourglass being there tells me that there's an element here that the divine approves, right? Because this is the divine timing card. So for that to come through, that is one of the more spiritually connected cards. So that would tell me that the divine kind of approves. It gave you time. It was the time for that choice to happen, because we've got the stork here stirring up change, stirring up new ideas that if you didn't have this idea to do things just a little bit differently, try a different way of doing things, or brainstorming this other way of doing something, that maybe it would have taken more time, or it wouldn't have happened. It's kind of like it was the right time to do that. It worked. I feel as though for some of you, I kind of want to reassure you, don't feel bad about doing that, whatever that was for you, because you are just reflecting upon it. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might actually be seeing it from other perspectives now and understanding, the other side of the story and things like that. And so it's made you sort of question whether you did the right thing or not. But do you know what? I feel like at the end of the day, you did the right thing for yourself. You did the right thing for your money. Because I'm just picking up an energy of you wouldn't have a job, you wouldn't have a house, if you didn't do that. So don't feel badly, don't feel guilty about that. Extra message for Sagittarius when it comes to their shadow work, because once again, like I said, shadow work is, and look at, oh my gosh, of course that card is the one that came out. Shadow work is looking at the darker sides of yourself and assimilating them. Understanding that life is not all good and perky and happy and lovely. Life is actually, there would not be light if it wasn't for the darkness to show the difference, right? Life is about balance. Life is about yin, yang, balance. You need the darkness. You need the light, okay? You need good. You need bad. You need love. You need fear. It's all well and good to say, I wish everything would be lovely and happy and shiny. But in reality, that nobody would have gratitude at all. If it wasn't like for the bad stuff in life, what would there be to be happy about? Do you know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't for the happy stuff in life, what would there be to be sad about? Like you wouldn't understand, because you don't understand it. Like, if if the bad stuff didn't exist, you wouldn't understand the difference. If everything was good, you wouldn't understand the difference. It's part of free will, it's part of life. Darkness, light, we all have a balance of it within ourselves. It's not succumbing to the darkness. It's not letting the darkness overtake us. It's, finding the moral balance and, not becoming a serial killer. That's going full tilt one direction, isn't it? We're not doing that. We're balancing. We're accepting that, everybody has, different elements that make us who we are. And you know what? That is okay. It does not matter. The universe loves you, regardless of the bad things you've done. Forgiveness. That's no wonder that card came out for you. You're now able to activate the power of love in order to release past hurts. The universe loves you. You need to love you. Accept that. Just accept. I love that I did that for myself. I might choose to never do anything like that again. But I love that I did do that, and I love that I had the confidence and the strength to do what needed to be done, because that's what it was. Okay, that's exactly what it was. You were surviving. Sometimes people have to do things that they wouldn't choose to do if they didn't have to. You know, think about, it's been heaps in media lately. I've been seeing heaps of it in the media lately, talking about the Donner Party, right, in America. Have you heard about the Donner Party in America? You know, like, I don't even know when. Me and historical facts are horrible, but it was like, you know, this camp, they like got stuck somewhere in the middle of winter, and they had to eat each other, like cannibalism, right? So they got stuck eating each other. But do you know what? Some of them survived. You know, because it was like 150 of them, right? And then they just all started dying off and dying off. But you know, like 48 or something managed to survive by the end of this big winter blizzard or whatever. And do you know what though? If they didn't do that and they didn't make that choice, yeah, it was not the right choice. Like, well, it was the right choice for them at the time, but it was like a very morally hard choice that felt like the wrong choice, you know. But they made that choice from survival. And do you know what? 48 of them, or however many it was, survived. If they didn't do that, zero would have survived. All right. So, are you going to survive? Do what needs to be done? Or are we going to curl up and die? Don't feel bad about it. Okay, so that's what we have for you, Saggy. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. You know, subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for Capricorn. Reflection and gratitude. What's our shadow work message for Capricorn? Okay, Capricorn. I'm going to ask for a rewording here as well because this is harsh. Heavy. And it's not actually heaps clear either. So I do just want to clarify this message before I sort of delve on in. Capricorn, please clarify or reword this message for Capricorn regarding reflection and gratitude. Been down the bottom of the barrel. What I don't know what that song is, Capricorn. It's like I've been down the bottom of the barrel, and I climb my way back up, something like that. Even the rewording of that is a bit harsh. Not gonna lie. Wow, Capricorn. And I'm looking at the hidden energy as well here. The first card we have is okay, the Rider, all right? We see the rider on a motorbike in this particular deck rather than a horse. The rider is kind of like, get on the bike and get going. What are you doing? Like, I don't feel like this is so much currently affecting you, Capricorn. I feel like this is like looking like reflection, reflection and being very grateful for all the ish, which should not make sense, that statement, right? It shouldn't make sense that we're grateful for all the horrible, harsh things that have happened. Because I feel like we're looking at some horrible, harsh things that have happened. And it's been down in the bottom of the well, now I'm dragging my way back up kind of thing. whatever. I don't know if that, like, is that a song or something? I don't know where that's coming from, but it's it keeps sort of saying, I've been down the bottom of the barrel, now I've got to get back up. I've been down the bottom of the, like, is it a, I can't make it out properly. Is it like well or hole, or I don't, something like being down the bottom, and now I'm on my way back up, or now I'm back up the top, or something like, that sort of reference. It's coming through. It's just I can't hear it very clearly. But we have the clouds, firstly. So your thoughts, your anxiety, your depression, Capricorn, overthinking, that has led you to clouded judgment, confusion, delusion. Considering, when I've asked to clarify, the card, they're kind of equaling out with each card I've drawn as well. So, we had the Rider was the first card I drew, and then the Child came through. All right, so I'll come to how they recognize each other here. But the card that I drew with the clouds, to clarify, we have the Snake, which can be delusion, temptation, deceiving yourself, lying to yourself a little bit here, Capricorn, throwing, being the snake in the grass to your own self. I feel like this is just all within you, yourself, that your thoughts have attacked you. Your thoughts have been the venom, the poison in your blood. The snake that bit you. It was your own thoughts. Okay. I keep getting depression. Some of you may have had serious mental health issues. Not going to lie. I'm a Capricorn myself, guys. So, I'm riding this out with you, okay? Because I'm neurodivergent. So I have definitely had mental health issues. Fortunately for me, this definitely is in the past, okay? Okay, just having a moment of clarity there, that's fine. We have the Void coming out with the clouds there. Look at that. Black hole, the void, the emptiness within you, the nothingness, the black hole that you've been sucked down into. I've been down to the bottom, been down to the darkest pits of hell within my own self. The venom came from you. I'm not saying you put yourself here, but you allowed, it's not even right. You're kind of maybe realizing that you were partly to blame, that you ended up here because of the way you were thinking and the way you were allowing your thoughts to spiral out of control. It wasn't your fault per se, Capricorn, because this is something that, especially when it comes to mental health, speaking from experience here, the nothingness, the void, the emptiness within yourself. When you're in that, you don't want to be in that. You don't want yourself to be in that. You feel as though there's no way to escape that. You would rather feel anything but the nothing. Feeling nothing is one of the, like, in reflection, the nothingness and the emptiness is one of the scariest, like the numbness and the emptiness, that is one of the scariest feelings. That is scarier than any emotion I've ever felt. Because, there's a lot of bad shit that can happen with that void energy around. Heavy, Capricorn. I would not be surprised, that this is connected to mental health for a lot of you. I would not be surprised if this is connected for a lot of you with self-harm, sewer. I can't say that on YouTube. The void is a sewer, right? It drags you down into that sewer, into that gutter. The numbness, the void. I feel like part of the message here is to remind yourself, to have gratitude that you've been there. You've been there. Yet you're still sitting here with me, able to recognize that you're not there now. You crawled your way back out of that. You know, in space, a black hole, there's no coming back from that. Capricorn, you came back from that. You survived that. That void came through with the fox, which is pretty much doing whatever the hell you need to do to survive. There may have been manipulation, I'm not going to lie. There may have been a little bit of manipulation, having to even manipulate yourself. You know, this is harsh, Capricorn. This is like looking back within the blackest of the black parts of yourself, the darkest night of your soul, basically. This was the hardest things. Self-deceit, you know, needing to be selfish so that you can just survive and get through the day, having to crawl out of a void and emptiness, you know, come back from nothingness. Your thoughts overtaking you to the point where, you know, it's allowing you to drown. But do you know what? You did it. The rider and the child. You got to ride through it, I suppose. You keep on riding through that night to get back to the daylight, back to the light, Capricorn. Find the child. Find the innocence. Find the sweetness. Reflect on that. Reflect on how much, do you know what, you got back up on that horse and you rode. And you rode. And you pulled yourself. You clawed your way back up out of that hole. That sweet little child, you, that deserves to be loved and cherished. You do. You're worthy. I'm going to cry, guys. Because the hidden energy here, we've got past love, we've got a lot of emotions. We do have communication. Talking to yourself about where you've been, Capricorn. How did you find the light? This tower is the lighthouse. What guided you back to the light? What was it that guided you back to the light? This, to me, sometimes this feels like the delusion. The little part of you that's like never gives up hope. No matter how dark things look, there's always this little part of you that is looking for the little butterfly, you know? Refuses to give up hope. Has faith somehow in amongst this darkness. Still manages to find the way out. Find the light. Capricorn, my goodness. You've been through it. We've been through it. Not going to lie. For a lot of you, this was connected to love. And for some of you, it was just general mental stability too. Because with the delusional, the delusion stuff coming through there a little bit too, I am picking up on you know, and part of my personal issues in the past here is being able to work out what is actually a delusion and what is actually this astral energy. Okay, sometimes you've got to believe the crazy shit. Sometimes you've got to be that child that is just looking for the adventure and looking for the crazy, looking for the, you know, oh, this could be the greatest adventure of my life. This, you know, this cardboard box is a rocket. I'm going to go to the moon. Sometimes you need to be a little bit delusional to claw yourself out of a hole like that. Why do you think they call me Crazy Fairy? Keep moving, Capricorn, keep going. Because you know what, I feel like gratitude that you've been there and you know that you can get back out of that. If you pull yourself into that ever again, you know that you can get back on that bike, you can find that little child within and you can get back out of that. You will do, you know, with that fox, you will do what you need to do to survive this. You are a survivor. Even when it comes, even if the perpetrator is your own brain. Okay, that is full on Capricorn energy. Harsh, personal. We'll grab your little extra message. Capricorn, shadow work, extra message for Capricorn with their shadow work. So obviously, Capricorn, this full moon may bring up some ish. Maybe a bit hard. It is the last day of retrograde. You may need to rely on some friends because we have friendliness coming through. You're able to recognize traits in common with another in order to forge love-based connections. Oh, side message. This is talking about like a trauma bond, Capricorn. That you're able to bond with people because you've been to the void. Because you've been to the void, you can bond with other people that have been to the void. You know, like you've got that trait in common. You both know, and it can actually forge a connection, a love-based connection. That I love that you didn't allow the void to overtake you, and they love that you didn't allow the void to overtake you, and that, but you both understand. Is that a new connection I'm picking up on for Capricorn? Is that a brand new connection I'm picking up on for Capricorn? More information about that connection. A side message for Capricorn. Who is that person Capricorn's forging a love-based connection with? Maybe yourself, Capricorn. Maybe another Capricorn. Maybe a Taurus. Maybe an Aries. I've got the ring, which is Taurus, the goat, which is a Capricorn card, coffin, which is a transformation, a reconciliation energy, a rebirth. So some of the common traits that you may share with this person may be obsession, maybe addictions, or a past relationship with addiction or obsession, or being a stubborn head, butting heads. You may have had issues with relationships. You may have had relationships that have, you know, for some of you, this may even be a past relationship as well with that coffin, because it could be a new beginning, like something that's ended that's now having a new beginning. You're both very stubborn. That's a little bit of that Taurus energy, but also that goat, both stubborn. Could be like an inventor type person, like someone who comes up with lots of ideas, or maybe you already have an idea of who this person is. But once again, that's change, new beginnings. So definitely could be someone from the past here, Capricorn, like a reconciliation type energy. Didn't we have that show up in a reading recently? Do what you need to do to survive, okay? So, just be careful with trauma-based connections, Capricorn. All right? Well, Capricorn, as always, coming through with everything in the world, okay? Look at that, 20 minutes for you, Capricorn. Jeez. Okay. Well, that's what we have for you. We are going to move on. Please subscribe to the channel. Very deep and meaningful with you today, Capricorn. Leave me a comment and give me some love, guys. I'm going to need it after this reading today. But if you're a fellow Capricorn, share some love in the comments because I love you, okay? Moving on to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Shadow work for Aquarius. Reflection and gratitude for Aquarius. Reflection and gratitude for Aquarius, please. Ooh, Aquarius. I don't know if you know this yet, Aquarius. And for some of you, it's yourself. Because look, we've got the mirror and then the star, which is the Aquarius card. So it's like looking at yourself. Because then all out of nowhere, I just want to, when we're talking about this full moon, moments of clarity, learning new information, reflection and gratitude for the truth that's coming to light for you, that you're learning. All right. So opening yourself up to, reflect on the truth. Some of you have not realized this yet, or have not learnt this truth as of yet. Okay. Others of you may have. But this is what we're reflecting on, this truth. We're reflecting on this truth that is getting revealed or has been revealed to you here. And the truth is, Aquarius, I'm just going to say yourself to start with because, we'll talk about others in a minute. Sudden, unexpected change. Suddenly, out of nowhere. Wow. Aquarius, I'm in love. I have the heart and the rose. Aquarius is in love with themselves. Super good energy. It's growth. It's spiritual growth. Okay, you're reflecting on. Oh wow! Suddenly I realize I do actually love myself. Wow, I do actually value myself. Love myself. Wow, how long's that been for? For some of you, it's realizing, oh, I do love that person. Wow, I didn't realize I loved them. Wow. Reflecting back, looking at things, looking at the way that you've grown and changed in the way that you show yourself that you value yourself. like I said, I'm just going to keep saying yourself, because I do have that mirror on the bottom here looking back at you. So I do feel for a lot of you, this is self-love and you know, your spiritual evolving within, and realizing that you do actually love yourself, and that you know, you treat yourself with value, which amazing. Okay, a lot of, like, I feel like for a lot of you, this is such a big deal because you may not have always done this either. You may have struggled with your self-worth and your self-love, and you know, feeling like you're worth love in and respect at all. um Whereas you're suddenly realizing, oh wow, I am actually treating myself with respect when it comes to love and the way that I love myself. Like, I'm actually like, hang on, I must value myself, because I feel like, you know, a lot of the time you spend a lot of time trying to show other people that you love and value them. But like, who stops and spends that same amount of time to show yourself through your behaviors and the way that you interact with others, that you actually value yourself and you respect yourself? You know, like, because someone was talking about it to me the other day, on a Capricorn video the other day, about you don't need to beg for love. You know what I mean? Like, the people that truly love you and care about you, you don't have to beg them to love you and care about you. They just do, because they do. So, like, if you want someone that's high value, you need to be high value as well, and treat yourself as though you're high value worth. So you need to, like, you don't need to beg yourself for your love. You just realize that you just act in a way that, you know, I don't need to beg for somebody's love, because why would I do that? They should just love me. If they don't, fine, cool, bye. I feel like that's what this is. You're realizing that you've been starting to show yourself, hang on, I actually do love myself. I actually do value myself. And it's kind of like a shock to you that you actually love yourself. It's actually a really good thing, because I feel like for a lot of you, you may have struggled a lot with that. And it's just showing you, you know, be grateful for how far you've come on that journey, and that, you know, wow, I actually do love myself. That's kind of really cool. Well done, Aquarius. Teach me your ways. Okay, extra message for Aquarius with shadow work, please. Empathy. You feel and understand the emotions of another in the service of love. Okay, so it's kind of like the way that you know, the more that you understand others and love others for who they are, the more you realize that, hang on, like, I'm the same. They're not better or worse than me. Like, so I love me too, like having empathy, but kind of going backwards and with it a little bit too. Realizing that, you know, all the love that you give, that's your love. That's not anybody else's. That's you. Okay. So flip it back around and show it to yourself. So show some gratitude for how far you've come with that. I feel like you've come a long way with the self-worth, love stuff. Okay. Self-value. All right, Aquarius, but that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will move on over to our Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Reflection and gratitude. Shadow work message for Pisces. Shadow work for our Pisces, please. We're looking at reflection and gratitude for Pisces. Oh, Pisces, I like this for you. I really do. I've got like more Pisces in my life than I even realize sometimes. I was talking to a friend today and I said to her, what star sign are you again? I've totally forgot. Like, honestly, because I asked so many people. And she's a new friend, like a new friend. But she's lovely, and she's a Pisces as well. And I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize she was a Pisces as well. Like some of my favorite people are Pisces. So it amazes me sometimes, like how it works out with that stuff. So yeah, I've got a couple of really close friends that are Pisces. Pisces. So I'm really happy to see this energy for you because we're reflecting on the fact that we have invested in ourself. We have the clover here and the tree. The clover talks about taking a chance, taking a risk, investing on your self-care, on your growth, on your healing. I love that. I really love that for you. You have invested in yourself and you've invested some time, some love, some effort into taking care of yourself, into making sure you are, doing your work and healing and growing and evolving and maturing. Even when it's hard, we know sometimes we go backwards as well. That's fine. Because do you know why you're reflecting upon this? It's because you're actually realizing how much more happier things have come to light in your life from just that choice to start investing in yourself, to start doing things, for your growth and healing and taking care of yourself. You are sort of starting to maybe notice a few things in your life that may not be there if it hadn't have been for you actually doing things for yourself and focusing on yourself for a little while, and especially when it comes to your self-growth and your healing. Like, I feel like, Pisces, that you've been, trying to take care of your mental well-being and, healing from past situations and traumas and, like, we've all got pasts, right? And a lot of them have been, typical me. Every time I get to Pisces, I'm gonna have to start switching it up again, guys, because I feel like every time I get to the Pisces reads, I'm starting to go just a little bit loopy because we're up to almost 2 hours. So 2 hours. I can talk a lot though, so I'm just a bit loopy anyway, right, guys? But this is happiness. It's being revealed to you. It's starting to come to light and being brought up to the surface in you, realizing that, hang on, I can be happy. I can have light in my life and actually just be happy, even when everything around me is going to absolute crap. I can still have little moments of happiness and I can see them and I can be like, oh, so happy for you. I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy for this. I love it. I love it for you. It's really good. It's really good energy, Pisces. It's showing me that you are doing the work. You're invested in yourself, which is exactly what you need to be doing for yourself here. And do you know what? It's resulting in happiness. So kind of can't go wrong with happiness, right? I don't know many people that have an issue with happiness. It can be a little bit daunting when you haven't had it and you're kind of waiting for the penny to drop and you're like, something's wrong. Everything's happy. What's going on? Can be a little bit scary, like waiting for the other shoe to drop sort of thing. But then you're like, hang on. No, things are actually just okay. Cool. I like it. A little bit of peace and happiness in my life. Cool. I like it. Get used to it, Pisces. Get used to it. Things are looking up, all right? You just got to keep doing the work. Stay invested. Look after you, all right? And really make sure you do keep trying, okay? You don't have to do. You just have to try. Like small little baby steps forward, one step at a time, right? And like I said, backslides is totally normal. Sometimes we fall off the wagon and have to like retrain ourselves and reinvest in ourselves. So this is kind of what I'm getting at. Make sure you're reinvesting in yourself. But stopping and taking a moment to just be grateful for the fact that you have actually invested in yourself in a really positive way here. And reflecting upon how you have shown yourself that you're investing in you. And then reflecting upon how that has actually created more happiness for you, even amongst all the other stuff. I feel like for a lot of you Pisces that, when you stop and think about it, you kind of will realize that, hang on, yeah, when I did start, the more I invest in myself, the more these happy things happen. So keep going. Don't stop now. But extra message for you. Pisces, extra message for Pisces with their shadow work. Pisces, shadow work for Pisces, please. Virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. Once again, I love it for you, Pisces. It's definitely connecting to your spiritual side as well. Okay, so that with virtue, it kind of says, keep the faith in yourself, and stick to your thing, whatever your thing is, stick to that. Your spiritual beliefs, for some of you, maybe even religion, your virtuous qualities. Stick to those, your morals and stuff. If you have a strong belief that this is right and this is wrong, stick to it, because that you doing that in a loving way for yourself. This is what I believe. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm going to stand for. This is what I'm going to keep standing for. Especially on a spiritual level, because Pisces, I talk about this a lot. You guys are very intuitive, and the more that you're standing on that, like, I'm going to trust my intuition and I'm going to listen to my intuition. If my intuition tells me that I do not like that person, I don't need to get to know that person. Just as an example, right? Just as an example, my Pisces, one of my Pisces friends, she's like very much like that. She's like, she will literally cross the road if she doesn't like somebody's energy. So, whereas me personally, I'll just grab onto some obsidian or something. But yeah, it actually helps the people around you as well, Pisces, which, knowing my Pisces, they're very caring people that do want to encourage others to grow. And if you're doing the work, so should they. So, you're kind of spiritually keeping them motivated, kicking them in the bum a little bit, keeping them going as well, which, then turns around and motivates you all over again, Pisces. So it's kind of like, keeping each other accountable, for being virtuous to ourselves, sticking to our own morals and our own little, we all have those little rules that we live by and things like that. So, kicking each other's little butts into gear. Encouraging others to grow. I feel like too, for a lot of you Pisces, this may actually be, for some of you, this is actually, the way that you're looking after yourself. It's actually being a really good role model as well, for not only, because, encouraging others to grow. Think about that. If you've got children, what sort of a role model do you want to be for the children? Do you want to encourage them to grow in a way where they invest in themselves Of course you do. Of course you do. So, lead by example, invest in yourself and show them that, it's important to look after yourself and to, you know, try to, heal and grow and evolve as a soul. um, you know, it's a really good role model example to be setting for young children. I enough said, right? That's what we have for you today, Pisces. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. And I will see you all again soon. Please subscribe as well, guys. Love you guys.